Hi everyone, welcome to Living La Vita Local podcast, a retro gaming podcast for some of your retro gaming needs. My name is Baz.
And I'm Rich.
We are going to do one of our free play fortnightlies tonight. Cut the mustard, because we just had a bit of a long pod last week. So, and this is a minute after, pretty much. So, it's not going to say hello to each other, it's going to fucking crack on like,
Just wade in.
People that crack on. What I don't know. This is already going wrong. There's no...
I can go first. I can bail you out. I can bail you out of
fair enough.
this nosedive.
So, a free play, we both play a game, we both win the game, then we review the game, and then we give the score to the other person based on the score we think is in their head. Okay, go now, Rich, go.
Right, so you know who cracks on, right?
Yeah.
The Doomslayer. So, we are doing
really
Doom
does.
the Dark Ages.
Yeah, oh, brilliant,
He wouldn't have mucked about for this intro either.
I'd have been
He would have just kicked the door in and killed something.
I'd have been that massive, what is it, shield that's got
That
the chainsaw
shield
and it would
thing.
just took me out.
Yeah, it would.
How cool.
Yeah, Doom the Dark Ages. So this is, I was umming and ahhing about when I was going to talk about this.
I'm
and then
really
I
excited
thought,
about
you know
it.
what? Like, I just talked about Republic Commando. That was a bit ho-hum, wasn't it? And I was like, I want to talk about something nice. So we're going with Doom. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of this.
Is it better than Ho Hum? No, maybe not.
No, it is good. It's good. It is good. I was playing this, but like thinking of Doom 2016.
I was just about to say.
And thinking of Doom Eternal.
So, I reviewed Doom 2016.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great, but overlong.
Yeah.
And then we never did it.
I don't think we didn't do
Eternal,
but we've kind of danced around it.
I think I remember you saying that Eternal's maybe the one that you liked the most out of those two.
So, I keep flitting between these two myself, right? Like, basically, I think what it boils down to is something like, and I still haven't fully decided, right? So you can ask me again in a month and this opinion will probably change. But it is something I think about quite a lot. I think the kind of moment-to-moment gameplay of Eternal is probably where my heart is.
Yeah.
However, and it's a pretty big caveat, the overall package of Doom 2016 I prefer. So like the storyline, the setting, all that kind of stuff. I prefer 2016. I remember more of it.
Yeah.
But when I'm playing it, I've realised that there is a not insignificant amount of muscle memory of things that I'm trying to do from Doom Eternal. However, Doom Eternal adds more for more's sake, I find.
Yeah.
So like you have more weapon options, you have more moves you can do, more things you're managing on the fly, more resources to manage and all that kind of stuff. It is a bit bloated by comparison overall.
Okay.
But moment to moment, when you're in the thick of it, holy hell, Eternal sings.
Yeah.
Like when it is firing on all cylinders and you're just there doing the thing,
Really
it's so good. But there is just something about 2016, and I genuinely think it might be the start of the game, like that kind of intro sequence.
It is super strong.
And
that's maybe why I felt like it doesn't tail off even. It's just like I felt like I was like doing the same sort of stuff like a longer period of time.
It hits a high point early.
Yeah.
But I think it stays up there. And so I think it's
plateaus maybe.
Yeah, and I think it's between the two of them. Like I like them both, but for very slightly different reasons. Doom the Dark Ages is trying to do something different by comparison. So like it's a lot more grounded. I think this is the closest to, well, in fact, no, I am going to say it is the best Warhammer 40,000 game I have ever played. Like you very much feel like that heavy, stompy, space marine-y, heavily armoured killing machine. Whereas in Doom Eternal in particular, you feel like a fucking anime character zipping around like nobody's business. But if you want to actually feel like a grounded sort of, well, literally boots on the ground kind of a killing machine, then yeah, like the Dark Ages is going to tick a lot of boxes. It looks really, really good as well. It is quite brown, I found.
Okay.
Like weirdly, specifically brown.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect
for some
that
reason.
More.
Yeah, like
game.
I have 2016 and Eternal pegged as like
The brown ages don't
reds and oranges and like neon colors even for Eternal. But yeah, the Dark Ages I've got pegged as pretty brown. But yeah, like obviously the combat is king here, and it's got good pedigree, and the parrying and shield and throwing that around and like some of the new additions are really good fun. Like moment to moment, they're really really good fun. The thing that I found with it is you've got a lot of quite open levels, which I prefer to having the kind of platforming you have in Doom Eternal. Like I would rather have big open levels to navigate rather than the platforming.
That fucked me off the platforming.
Yeah, and I kind of like having that instead of like a hub area that you go back to and stuff like that. So yeah, on paper this does a lot right, but because the levels are quite open, obviously parrying stuff from a long way away is kind of tricky, and if it's behind you it's even trickier still, and if it's a big open level there's a lot more opportunities for things to go behind you. So you have to have a lot of situational awareness, because at least, and I played this basically like it was basically a day one purchase for me over on Steam. I paid full price and I was like, you know what, that's absolutely fine, I'm good. I know I will enjoy it. I will wait in. But like I don't know more recently if anything's changed on that front, like if they've got, I don't know, extra indicators or something like that just to help you out a bit. It feels like the sort of thing that could be an accessibility option that I might have missed or something like that, because it does feel like
more yellow paint, please.
Well, just on the bottom of your HUD when someone's shooting at you from behind, you stand a chance of being able to turn around and parry it. Like it feels like the kind of thing you could be at a disadvantage with if you're not playing it on like surround sound or something like that. But anyway, it adds things in like dragons and a mech and all this kind of stuff, and they basically went full tilt like, oh no, there's got to be fucking metal as fucking fuck. Which again, part of me definitely appreciates, but on the flip side, like mechanically they're pretty weak. Like you're not doing much with them. Like there's a couple of things like you will fly through some tunnels with the dragon, you will do certain moves, you can punch things as the mech, but like you're doing those on repeat.
I was a bit worried when I heard about those being included. I remember the preview podcast I listened to for IGN, and they were a bit like, I was just waiting to go back to being the Doomslayer again.
They could have either done with fewer of them or shorter bits. Like they're kind of nice interludes. They're kind of fun when they pop up, but once they've popped up and you've kind of got that big reveal, what you're doing now, what's next, and it doesn't feel like you get much of a payoff. The soundtrack is not as good as 2016, which is the other reason why I think 2016 is still my favorite one. Like that soundtrack is so good. Doom Eternal's best bits of the soundtrack are from Doom 2016, just recycled. But in this one, like it just doesn't hit the same highs. But what it is very good at is that boots on the ground, like gritty, like brawling that you do. And I think like it feels like you do more brawling than shooting sometimes. Like, and I know you've said before now about like having good crunchy melee in first person combat. I think you would fucking love this game. I really do. And
I only want to punch things. And
and this is the Doom for that. It really is. Like there's a couple of really fun bits where, because they've got these big open spaces, they can really play with enemy spawns and stuff like that. So they'll do cool stuff like line up the enemies like it's a medieval battle. And you can see them all like on the horizon, and you have to jump off of this cliff right into the middle of what's going on. All that kind of stuff. Like there are some bits like that that are just so cool.
I'm literally dribbling. Like thinking about this.
If you want to make like a badass Warhammer game, this is how you do it, my friends. And yeah, like it's good fun. It really is. It's really solid. It plays well. It's got some fun bits. It's got a couple of wobbles where, I think just as a little, call it a self-contained little series of the three of them, I think it's possibly starting to run out of steam a little bit. just a little bit, and I can imagine that we might be getting to the stage now where there might be some serious conversations about, do we go for a fourth, or do we wait and reboot, or what, go a different direction.
I feel like that would be sensible. Like,
I think we've emptied the well with this one a little bit, which is by no means to say that, like, holy hell, we've hit perfection and stuff. We haven't. The problem is we've gone past the peak. It feels like. You never know. Like, there may be an other weapon or like time period they could riff on or something like that. But like, it kind of feels like we've covered a lot of bases. And not only that, but like, this game is more invested in its plot than you are.
Yeah.
Like, it's really invested in its plot. It spends a lot of time trying to tell you about what's going on and give you a reason to be here.
I was going to say, is there a lot of exposition? Or...
There's quite a lot of cutscenes and stuff like that that, you know, go into the lore of this little trilogy, and well, not even explain necessarily, but like, you know, it cares more about what it's trying to say than I imagine the vast majority of people playing it would.
Yeah.
And I've not really seen that in a game before. It's usually, you know, too little story rather than like too much.
Fuck that cutscene. Hit me.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, I didn't really need a reason to be here, but you're still talking, so okay. Like, I would have just done it for fun.
Yeah.
So like, and yeah, like, there are a couple of moments where you get the impression that the game is expecting you to be in your chair, like, oh my god, and you're like, what?
Yeah. It's fine.
So
Skip.
yeah, it's kind of an odd duck in that respect. So yeah, like, there's a lot of things to like about it. There's a couple of bits that just feels like it's stumbled a little bit if you kind of taken across the series and the kind of high points so far. But yeah, on the whole, like, really, really solid, really, really good fun. And if you're after a Doom where you're doing more hitting things than shooting things, then you, my friend, are in the right place.
Yeah, I really want to play it.
I think you should.
Yeah,
I really do think you should.
I really think I will. So saying that sentence, then, you are more of a shooty Doom person. What makes that happen?
I think I still very much prefer 2016. And that is no small part to how it all comes together. Like, that soundtrack is still the soundtrack I will listen to when I'm wrapping Christmas presents. Because, you know, ripping and tearing through wrapping, like, obviously rude not to. And talking about it just then, like, I felt more fond memories from bits of gameplay coming back than I think I did when I was sitting there writing my notes originally.
Yeah.
Like, I think I, if anything, have warmed to it for not playing it almost. And like, it's big, brash, loud, crunchy, stompy, all that good stuff. But it just the bits that it's adding in aren't all home runs.
Okay.
The shield, yep, and some of the stuff you do with that. The open levels, or the more open levels rather, like, yep, I'm on board with those. But like, some of the extra bits just kind of feel a bit surplus to requirements. It's almost like somebody needed to edit it down a little bit.
Feels like it just kind of, like you say, with this trilogy specifically as well, and it sounds like being really like critical, but it still feels like it's searching for its IP, almost, that is in other than the obvious, the obvious part of being the Doomslayer. Like, as in, you know, when you kind of think about the platforming part of it, it's almost like, let's try this, and then let's try, and then
I disagree with that.
Oh, okay,
because it's like, its key sort of calling card is that resource management, and having the kind of the weaker enemies, like the zombies and stuff like that, that are stumbling around, basically be complete, like, non-starters when it comes to combat, but you're using them more like mobile health kits, or if you kill them a certain way, they're mobile armor, or if you in Doom Eternal you kill them a different way again, they're different types of armor, different types of ammo. and all that kind of stuff. I think that's this trilogy's key calling
and then
card.
you get a rhythm out of that, don't
you? Get the
Yeah,
rhythm out of
yeah,
that,
okay,
and
fair
you
enough.
have the kind of glory kills and stuff like that to kind of punctuate these little things. So the way 2016 in Eternal kind of worked was, well, actually, let me start at the start. 2016 felt very much like you would have an arena. You would have to plot your way around the arena, killing the big things while making use of the resources you could farm from the small things. That was the rhythm.
Yeah.
Then you would have a little gap, maybe some platforming, but not much to speak of in the way of enemies between you and the next arena. Lather, rinse, repeat. Doom Eternal put more stuff between those arenas and gave you more opportunities to kind of backtrack and explore a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, again, for me was kind of that more for more's sake. That wasn't necessarily what I was here for. I'm here to kill stuff in an arena, not explore. And then Doom the Dark Ages, in terms of the kind of level layout, feels like it's got that middle ground covered, but at the same time has just added more. And like the parrying kind of makes sense for what you're doing and some of the enemies you face and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of nice to have that rather than another resource management thing. But I guess in that respect, it does kind of feel like maybe it's moved away a little bit from what I would have said that the kind of core identity of this trilogy, if you like, was.
Well, I'm glad that I made that unfounded and poorly thought out point, because then you gave a really good explanation.
I hadn't really thought of it until you mentioned
that. But that just made, but like that's good. Like and I wasn't thinking about that. But yeah,
I mean, I could easily be wide of the mark. I really could. As I sit here right now, the way I'm thinking about it, that's kind of the boxes I'm fitting each of those 3 games into.
And that is super helpful for me, having only played 2016 out of the 3 games so far, to remember the glory kills and the management of the carcasses that you go through to
it was
to generate more fun.
it was like, that bit in the kind of schlocky action films when someone walks into a room and is like, no, that guy dies last. And it was that sort of thing,
Yeah, that is fun. Okay, so the lesser of the 3.
Yeah, I think for me, but it is still up there. It's still pretty high up. I think it's lesser in that it is just slightly less great.
Yeah. So I've made myself a rule with you,
right?
Going that I always need to add one more than what I think. So I think you're thinking 8.
I am.
Yeah, good. I need to add what, like, wherever I think it actually is going to be, I need to add one more, and then when it's me, you need to take one more off. I think is that. And that was, I don't know, that might speak to our personalities.
Yeah, probably does
somehow.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like, just informally, I'm not writing this bit down, but like, I think in my head, it's like Doom Dark Ages is 8, Eternal 9, 2016 is 10.
Yeah,
that's the kind of bracket. Which
is funny because and this will sound like sacrilege compared to what you gave it. I mean, I think I gave 2016, and this is exactly what I mean. But I think I gave it 7, and that was like, but then speaking to you now about the Dark Ages just makes me go, fuck, I want to play Doom again. Like, like so, and this is the whole thing about this podcast is you kind of score something in your head at a time and what you've been playing in and around it and what you've been feeling, and actually it takes time to sort of like sometimes just to bed things in and
let it percolate a bit and
play 3 or 4 more games that might be in the same sort of ballpark, and then you go, actually, these are shit compared to that. And
there were plenty of times playing the Dark Ages where I was like, fuck, Faz would love this.
I really I'm looking forward to playing it at some point in my career. And you've inspired me to crack out a different game from what I had written down.
Right.
It's not the same type of game at all, but it's big and brash, and I imagine you'd be appreciate it as well. I have played Bayonetta.
Nice.
And I fucking love Bayonetta.
It's bad shit. It's great.
I really, really liked Bayonetta. I've been thinking about Bayonetta since I played Bayonetta about a month ago. Quite a significant amount. I've got a quote written down from the game that is just like I love that when it just like you said the bat shit insanity of it all when she just like at one point just says out of nowhere in a lovely posh English accent, which is like I feel like a fucking celebrity in this town. Just like, it's so yeah. I don't know. I didn't so unexpected this game to me. Like even when I knew what to expect, I was still stunned by the way it goes about its business. So for those that didn't know, then so it's 2009 Xbox 360, and I had the digital version. I think I got it for like £4 on Xbox. Like, isn't just such a good £4 buy? So Platinum Games, who also did Raiden,
Raiden,
and Nier
Automata,
yeah. So
various other bits and bobs.
Slash Sega. So they sprung out of Clover Studio, who produced games like some wonderful games like God Hand and Akami and Beautiful Joe, and they were almost like a subset of Capcom. And the chap who is part of Platinum Games, he directed Resident Evil 2 and Devil May Cry, so good bones.
Pedigree.
And this is kind of like, so this is an original concept game, which is, I mean, it gets like extra points from me with roots. I didn't realise in Norse mythology, I mean, until I started playing it, and there's a little bit in there. It just feels like it's kind of got its fingers in all pies, I'm going to be honest. And then the Devil May Cry sort of feel. This is a bit off tangent, but between Devil May Cry and this, I had a much more preference for this, even though I really did enjoy Devil May Cry. I felt a bit more horror aspect, where this just felt like
campy ridiculousness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This is like this Saturday sort of matinee of Rocky Horror Picture Show-esque kind of thing going on. So it's a third-person hack and slash. Really enjoy the setup of this because there's a significant amount of depth going on, but they do an amazing job of having distinct arcade levels that you are scored on in that, and you can imagine playing this on a big arcade cabinet somewhere. And just there's so much technicality that goes into the combat, but they still manage to maintain, for me as a gamer, we spoke about Tekken, like 2 weeks ago, and how much effort you can put into the mechanics and things. I feel like this does a really great job of you can put so much into it, but you can also button bash probably quite a lot and get away with it as well. And I for the first time in a long time find myself really wanting to learn the mechanics of the different combinations and combos that you can do with Bayonetta. Just to give you an idea of what the plot is, the fucking insane plot. This is the most sensible part of it. So you are Bayonetta. You're a female witch, and you've awoken with amnesia at the bottom of a lake after a 500-year sleep. You after that sort of preamble, you join Bayonetta like 20 years later. She's clearly an established badass who seems to be just taking care of random sort of angel dudes called Lumen Sages, I think they're called. There is a war between Umbra witches, which is what Bayonetta is, almost, and you are the dark side effectively. Your allies are demons, and you bring allies out from the floor and from the gates of hell to help you take these angelic monstrosities down. Really, that is in they are. It's so well depicted that it's like it's not dark versus light, really. It's more like badass demons who seem to give more of a shit, but in a cool, sassy way, compared to these fucking ignorant, arrogant, angelic knobheads, basically. And you take great joy in ripping out all sorts of organs and random bits of bodies and stuff out of them. Great. You have a really crazy ass rival called Jean, who just sort of starts showing up and blowing shit up and stuff. And you can really tell that the people that have created the game really love her, because she just shows up and she's a fucking badass. Like, you think you're amazing as Bayonetta, and then Jean turns up, you're like, okay, Jean's the one. Is it actually? And then you've got like a rant. Then just the most strange cast after that, where you have Luca who just shows up like as the most milquetoast, like like bitch ass boy. And I don't like. I've never felt such jealousy where I'm like, no, pick me, Bayonetta. Don't go with him. Pick me because he's not worth what you're worth. So yeah, that's bit weird. In terms of actual gameplay and going through that combination, the hack and slash thing. So you've got your generic kick and you've got your generic punch, but you've also got a non-generic shooting pistols out the bottom of your stilettos spinning around on your head while you're doing this. Some wonderful weapons that you basically get through progression of rings, which so I was like Sega. I was like, what's the Sonic the Hedgehog ring? That is in like thing going on. Very clever. But you and then. You also you can pick up weapons of enemies as you're fighting as well, which is a really nice touch because then you get effects like Bayonetta doing an upside down pole dance on like an angel's staff, and you're like while she shoots bullets out of her boots, and you're like, wow, that is just so fucking cool. You also get something that's really really cool, which is witch time, which if you perfectly dodge attacks during battle, then you build up witch time, which basically is like Matrix bullet time, and that gives you a small amount that you can get some extra blows in on your enemies, or you can almost organize attacks and defense during the fight. That's really cool. I particularly loved that you build up these execution moves that you perform on some of these enemies. My favorite being, and it is. It wears its heart on its sleeve. Like it's in like the pornographic almost like nature of an angel, a female angel being strapped by Bayonetta to a really sharp horse, like a really sharp wooden horse, like almost horse. Like sat on it. And I don't want to go into any further than that, but it's just like it just does not give a shit. This game, it just doesn't care about anyone or anything. It just cares about having a good time. It is the cocaine of video games. It's just like, I don't care about you. I don't care where you come from. I don't care about your family. I'm taking you. Taking you. You're not coming back till 5 a.m. Sorry. Yeah, really, really swaggy. Yeah, there's some stuff in here that I kind of there's little bits of crafting techniques and stuff in the background that you don't really have to get into too much. That is you craft certain health items that you pick up little fragments from. I didn't really kind of buy into any of that, to be honest. I thought that kind of took away a little bit from what was front and center, really. It doesn't spoil it or anything, but because you don't have to interact with it. But I think there was a few different things that I didn't necessarily find that I had to interact with. Like, is it and it does a good job of getting out of the way. Like, is in it's almost like I didn't see the point of it. Basically, it was almost like I don't need to. I'd rather just go to the gates of hell and buy my lollipops, my sexy health lollipops. What else? Her hair is a butterfly. That's great. I'm trying to just randomly throw shit at the wall here because I'm just things that I'm like, oh yeah, I really like that too. The opening of the game is just crazy. That is you're introduced to Bayonetta as she's falling off a cliff and jumping from fragments of rock in that Platinum Games / Capcom-esque style, like with Devil May Cry and things, with Dante jumping between stuff and doing backflips, like falling off like just not fussed about falling off a cliff, like continuing to just kick fucking ass. And then all of a sudden you're in a cemetery and you think it starts off being possibly that it might be a serious sort of scene, but immediately jazzy pop music starts playing, and then there's just blood, flips, guns, boobs. Like it's just everything a young 13-year-old boy would be like, whoa, could wish for. I found the cutscenes a bit jarring in a way. That is because they do a real mix of fully fledged cutscenes Then they kind of try to put a bit of style in it, where they're like, well, Luca is a photographer, so whenever he's involved, the cutscenes turn into stills and just with voiceovers on it. And I'm like, well, that just feels like you're just saving money. Like, you know, like, and it just that was just jarring. It wasn't horrendous, but it was a little bit off. The way I was just sort of like, oh, this is, I don't know. I was really enjoying kind of like what I was seeing before this, and now it's kind of gone on a weird turn.
It was something they would do quite a lot in like the Yakuza and like a Dragon games.
Okay.
You'd almost have like 3 levels of cutscene. You would have an actual cutscene,
so.
a sort of in-game, slightly weirdly animated one, and then like stills. I always took that more as like, you've just got so much stuff to cover. There's no way you could like animate all of it. But I don't really know what the excuse would be for Bayonetta.
It felt like I was very much almost like that's the kind of thing I'd seen in a PSP game. Like,
It's,
you know, and that was mostly to get things to fit on a UMD. But yeah, it not a massive problem. But it just sort of like some of the cutscenes I probably would have enjoyed more if they'd just been the fully fledged cutscenes that I was enjoying. I like I say, I refer to this Sega arcade fingerprints that it's all over it. That the mini game that you play every single time between the levels, which are it. I think I got through this. I just played normal, and I think I got through on about 8 hours. And if we didn't have a podcast, I think I would have just jumped straight back in.
Kept playing,
just playing it again and again. I wasn't very good at the arcade game. What's it called again? I can't remember now. Where you have to shoot basically, like as in, you know, little angels, and you get points for it. I can't remember, but
but
it was funnily enough, considering, you know, I think there's like 25 levels, so I must have played about 20 times, and I just stayed consistent as shit at it. Just didn't get the idea of it, but it didn't matter because I really enjoyed it. You know, it just kind of gets its like, it just really gets its hooks into you, like the scoring system of being able to get combos and things. The fact that you get awarded like a little statue at the end. Everybody wants a platinum Bayonetta statue. Nobody wants a shitty stone statue. I can't remember the weird character. The really strange like crook who is your weird friend from the Bronx. That isn't it? It's like, so many eclectic characters that I want to know more about. I'm just like, what are these people doing? I really felt this was a good mix of like almost like a Tarantino cross Robert Rodriguez, cross Devil May Cry, cross Constantine, almost that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was almost like small bits of all those things, and it brought all the good bits of those things. I could only say that probably my favorite. It sounds really weird because it's just like, it was such a throwaway moment, but my favorite moment of the whole game is, I think it's quite early on, but every so often in these little mini levels that you do, you will fight like a sort of a mini boss every so often, and then you'll fight a big boss. One of the mini bosses, you defeat the mini bosses, and it kind of comes to like, it's falling down into the depths of hell as the demons come up for it, and it kind of lashes out to try and grab Bayonetta, and it's almost like looks like it's going to touch her butt, and like she slaps it away, like as it's going down, just like, and oh man, those little touches where you just sort of think, you know, like, just they have everything going for this game where it's like, just every part of it oozes just style and attitude. And I remember saying about the Saboteur and how that game was silly. This game is very silly as well. But the Saboteur didn't know what it wanted to be. This knows exactly what it wants to be, and that's the difference between those two games. That is in an almost like, the Saboteur wasn't being silly for being silly's sake; it just was silly. Whereas this is like, yeah, we are batshit mental and we don't care. Like,
it's swagger.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's, I've got in capitals there, swagger. So yeah. Overall, then I guess that I'd say that the stories are. If you think about the story being absolutely insane and stuff, if you actually think about it, like it's a driving mechanism through the game, you know, and you kind of get mini Bayonetta, I guess you call it. It's in turning up and stuff. That is in. It doesn't even really drag it either. It's just like they're trying almost like have their cake and eat it, and kind of like layer a story in, and it didn't really have any impact for me. Like I didn't really care about what was actually the story was saying. I cared that I was jumping on massive rockets being fired at me and stuff like that, and then riding a rocket and stuff. Just like that's what I cared about, like missiles. I didn't care about what the story was trying to say really. That was a little bit of a criticism that I was almost like I do think that they could have meshed all the fun together with that story a little bit better. It kind of sat a little bit sideways to it. But apart from that, fucking oh man, the attitude of this game just made me so happy. I know most people would probably pick God of War for their kind of like like super powered hack and slash sort of feelings. I pick Bayonetta. Slightly in love, clearly. Just weird. Anyway, but yeah, it was really cool. I think I would turn to Luca at that moment. This just started happening in life. How did you feel about the video game that I just spoke about?
That thing, what you talked about. I really enjoyed it. I was sitting here like while you were talking, trying to like see how much of it I could remember versus Bayonetta 2. And I think I can just slightly. I think I lean towards Bayonetta 2.
I've read that that's the best, generally, what is sort of accepted to be the better one out of the three.
I think there's, as much as anything, weirdly, like the thing that got me about Bayonetta 2 compared to Bayonetta 1 was the art style.
Okay.
Like it's not like it's radically different or anything like that. It's just that a lot of the settings you're in are just a bit more colourful to my mind.
Yeah, it does suffer from that 2009. Like, the settings aren't bad. Like, I'm just sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. It's just almost like I was trying to speak as the most recent person to play it. I guess almost like I didn't feel like they were horrendous to look at.
No,
but a lot of the colour palette does kind of like go a bit yellowy, beigey.
Yeah,
background.
It's almost a little bit. Reminding me of Devil May Cry, actually. Whereas Bayonetta 2, a lot of the settings are vibrant, colourful, match the style of the game, and I think it just clicks a little bit more. It's like someone went, "Oh no, like it should be bright and breezy."
Yeah,
it's bright and breezy anyway, like tonally.
Yeah.
So why don't we literally make it? Say you're fighting in nice, bright seasidey towns and stuff like that. So I think as a kind of a complete piece of art, it just hangs together a little more comfortably. Weirdly, like because like you're absolutely right. Like the first game is not exactly short of charisma, but I think by the time you get to the second one, it's even more assured. In what it's trying to do. And yeah, like in terms of imagination and like Platinum Games do good work, like really good work. So I like a lot of the bits and bobs they've put out. And yeah, like Bayonetta has definitely endured.
It was interesting to use the words like piece of art. Now, I really appreciate that because when I think of what people think of video games as art, like as in this is like I've already mentioned it, obviously the Robert Rodriguez style of art, if you will, as in like just I don't want to say it's brainless because it's not. It thinks about what it wants to be and reaches for the stars for that. And I just think there's a lot to be said for that. To be honest, that is, and I find myself more drawn to more visceral art that just has a single goal to be like to make you feel a certain emotion.
And it's what I find particularly striking about it is it takes so many seemingly disparate elements, but brings it together as one coherent piece. Like that is a real skill to be able to do that. Because there are plenty of other games, books, movies, TV shows, blah 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 blah, that are scattershot but don't coalesce.
Yeah.
Whereas the Bayonetta games particularly Bayonetta 2, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, like, just seem to bring it together just right.
Yeah.
So yeah, like they are, considering how all over the place they are, and I imagine that as soon as you listen to this episode back and listen to yourself and half the things you're saying,
sorry,
it'd be like, what the fuck am I talking about?
That review is like...
but the game itself is exactly like that. However, it does all still come together.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So yeah, it's really impressive. So I think, like, in terms of scoring and stuff like that, I think I'm going to give it an 8. But that's only because I know how good Bayonetta 2 is.
Yeah. It needs room to grow when it comes back.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I kind of had like a high 8/low 9 in my head, and I was pretty happy with any of those. That is on the flip side of that conversation about, being a piece of art and things, this could very easily be something that would offend somebody. That isn't it, and it's very sweary, way more sweary than I expected it to be, which sounds stupid, but that was almost like I expected, and a lot more sex appeal and stuff than I expected out of a video game and stuff, knowing nothing of it going in, only a little bit. I think it was more adult across the board than I expected it to be, which is no bad thing or anything. But I could see how you could play maybe 5 minutes of this game and go, this really, well, no, like, if that's not what that's not what you came for. Certainly, I didn't realize that when I started playing it, and my wife was in the room, and she's like, "What are you playing?" And I'm like, "Bayonetta, mate." I was just like, she's like, "Don't you worry about it." It was just like the Saboteur with this sort of, like when I was like, "Oh, this is the DLC with the boobs." It's like, but then again, going back to that point of how, I'm the Saboteur and I'm down, down the middle of Paris, and I'm just going to get naked ladies around me and stuff. Whereas this is like, all about like having that empowered sort of person that is just like kicking people's ass, at the same time, as well as that, owning herself around the screen as well. I really enjoyed actually that they include in some of the menus quite a lot of the artwork of the game in general, and you can see that vibrant love that they've kind of put into, the Platinum Games have put into these games and stuff. It was really cool, and I like to see the evolution from Devil May Cry, and this kind of inspired me to kind of go, well, I want to play more Bayonetta, I want to play more Devil May Cry. They're definitely the kind of games that I just really enjoy being around and spending my time with.
I recently found myself going like, there's a certain kind of game that I want to be playing. I kind of know vaguely what it is, but I can't quite put my... Oh, wait, no, it's Devil May Cry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but because they have that tangible style, you can do that, and that's
the kind of character action type thing, isn't it? Yeah.
And that was almost the point I was hoping I was making before about, I know what this is, so I can go to it and enjoy it. Yeah. Whereas sometimes if something is a wonderful piece of art, but I'm not quite sure what it is, your Journeys, your Shadow of Colossus, it can be a bit sort of like my brain can't coalesce to go in that direction. But it was, as a final point, I wasn't going to review that tonight, but because you spoke about Doom the Dark Ages, that brought that feeling out of me, that I was like, your review excited me to the point where I was like, yeah, no, this feels like the partner, like the trilogies of Bayonetta and Doom, like, as in feel like they, whilst aren't the same games, certainly sit quite well together.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. They both know what they're doing, and they're both not exactly subtle about it.
God, so many dead bodies in those games. Just being used as resources, basically, for the main characters. Cool. That was really fun. Well, that's it. Right, we'll speak to you again.
Right. Job done.
It started really well quickly, and now it's ending really poorly. Right, thank you very much, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.